Hello, so I did my close reading on a sentence that was the last page of the book, the last paragraph, and near the end of that last paragraph. It is on page 206, and the sentence says, "This soil is bad for certain types of flowers," or it actually says this soil is bad for certain kinds of flowers. The narrator in this section is Claudia, and that is proven by the page before. She says Frida and I, and that's in the same section, and then she also references back to that I throughout the section and in the paragraph that I am in the sentence, or the paragraph that I'm analyzing. She also uses the word I, so that way I know that is Claudia that is narrating. So, my claim is, well, first I want to start off by saying that the flowers that she mentions, I believe that these flowers are marigolds, and I think that they're marigolds because the sentence before says, "I even think now that the land of the entire country was hostile to marigolds that year." And then it says, "This soil is bad for certain kinds of flowers." So I'm guessing that the flowers that she's referencing is marigolds because of that what she said in the last sentence and referred it to as marigolds. So one of my claims is that by flowers or the marigolds, this is actually a metaphor, and it is representing Black people or the Black community or African Americans. And I think this because of the amount of the word certain. There's a lot of repetition in the word certain around this sentence. So in the sentence, she uses the word certain, certain kinds of flowers. In the next sentence, she uses the word certain 2 times, certain seeds, and then she also says certain fruit. And I think that is all she says. She uses the word 3 times, so it really puts an emphasis on it. So it's really sticking out that it's certain types of things. And I believe that certain is the Black community in this case. Another reason that I think that it's referencing back to Black people is because it says, because in that sentence I was talking about, it says certain seeds it will not nurture, certain fruit it will not bear, and when the land kills of its own volition, we acquiesce and say the victim had no right to live. And this sentence is right after the sentence that I'm analyzing, and it's very close proximity, and this sentence is talking about more or less how saying the victim had no right to live. That victim is, in this case, Pecola, because we know that Pecola and her baby, her baby had just died, so that victim is Pecola, or Pecola's baby. And then also, in a way, Pecola's not really living because she is so traumatized by all these things that have happened to her. And so that's why I believe it's talking about Pecola there, and then also talking about how this is Black people that they're using as a metaphor for this marigolds. Also, something that I found just for knowledge that you wouldn't know through this book, there's actually something called an African marigold, and it's like what people reference to a certain type of marigold. So I think that has importance to why she chose that particular flower. And then it also says that marigolds, they describe them as having a musky scent, and I know that's something that often people will say, African Americans, that's their scent. So I also think that has to do with like why she used the word marigold and how it shows that it is representing the Black community. Also, I'm not sure if this is why she told it, but it's interesting that certain types of species of marigolds are considered invasive, and I think that it's kind of what some Black people were to the white people in this community. They were seen as invasive or not really wanted around. Like Pecola and her family were definitely not wanted around. So I also think that proves the evidence that marigolds are the symbol for African Americans. And then the other claim that I wanted to make that is that soil in this case is referring to society, or more specifically the community in this area. And the reason I think this is because I know a couple chapters back they had a sentence that said the earth might have been unyielding to these seeds, and you don't really think it's like the earth unyielding, so that's just part of it. It says that the flowers didn't or couldn't flourish in this soil, just like Pecola and much of the Black community can't flourish in this community, and that's shown through the mothers, Pecola not having a lot of money, or Black mothers working for well-off white families. And then also a couple of lines before, it talks about how the land of the entire country was hostile to marigolds, and you don't typically think of land of an entire country as soil. You'd think of it as more of like land that people use and people live on. So I thought that more as like it's people, like it's proving more that it's not just land that they're talking about here. And then lastly, I think this proves it almost the most. One of the last sentences close to talk about how I did not plant the seeds too deeply. In this case, the seeds are the marigold seeds, how it was the fault of the earth, the land, and especially I think it put big emphasis of our town, and that really blatantly states like it was the town, the reason these marigold seeds didn't flourish, didn't grow, didn't come up above ground is because of the land, the earth, a little more specifically, the land, even more specifically, our town. So yeah, those are the claims that I have, and that was my close reading of the sentence, "The soil is bad for certain types of flower," in the book The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Thank you.